We will start. The second one, TRIPS. Okay, so you can write that trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights. Trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights, TRIPS. Just write one line. Under this, member countries have to provide at least minimum level of protection, to 7 categories of intellectual property. 7 categories of intellectual property. So if you want, we can write that 7 categories and we can discuss one by one also. The first one is actually patent. So we will discuss in detail about this patent, then geographical indicator, then copyright related rights, okay, and then trademarks, then trade secrets, industrial design, layout of an integrated circuit. So these are the 7 categories of intellectual property. So you have to provide at least minimum level of protection to these 7 categories: patents, geographical indicator, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, industrial design, layout of an integrated circuit. So the first one, that is patent. Just write what is patent. These are legal rights. Provided to an inventor or developer. Legal rights provided to an inventor or developer of an intellectual property for its exclusive use. Okay, so it's like normal property only. Intellectual property is like another property. Like you can sell it, you can write there, it can be sold, it can be gifted, so you can give it for rent also. Okay, so it can be sold, it can be gifted, it can be rented, etc. So just like a physical property, like you own a house, you can sell that, you can gift it, you can give it for rent also, right? Exactly in the same way, intellectual property. One more line you can write. The patents are granted for products and processes. We will discuss about product patent and process patent. Just right now, the patents are granted for products and processes that are new or that are novel, which involve some inventive step, some invention, which involve some inventive step and have commercial applicability. Okay, now I'll briefly make a comparison with Indian Patent Act 1970, which was actually amended in 2005. So Indian Patent Act 1970, and we will also discuss about the TRIPS norms. Okay, so here Indian Patent Act, if you see the life of patent, it is 7 to 14 years, but TRIPS norms, it is more than minimum 20 years. Okay, more than 20 years. So that is a life of patent. Now, onus of proof. Here it is with the patentee. Here it is with the infringer. Okay, so here it is with the infringer. Now that because of this there is a problem. Okay, so if you come up with a new product, imagine that person X actually come up with a new product. Now somebody Y is accusing you by saying that this is my product. So who is the infringer here? X is the infringer. Now with whom the onus of proof is there, it is with the X. So what will happen is immediately there will be a stay. So even if it is a new, even if it is, his own product, there is a possibility that there can be a stay and that may not be able to use for some time at least. So that is actually a problem. Okay. Then here, when it comes to Indian Patent Act 1970, we will talk about the amendment. Amendment is done, which is mostly complying with the TRIPS norms only because we are anyway part of WTO. So this only process patent, only process patent. That means you can take the patent on the process. The same product can be made through different process as per only process patent. But in case of TRIPS norms, process and product patent. Okay, now what do you think? Is this desirable product patent? See, the same product, let's say same product, the pen that I'm writing or anything, it can be made by using a different, better method also. But once one person have taken patent for this product, then that product itself cannot be made. So what will happen? It will reduce the invention, in fact. Even though it is basically to protect the inventions, there is a tendency or it may hinder the invention because that same product cannot be made. But if it is process patent, the same product can be made with a different method, different process, and that will promote, invention. Just 1 minute. Okay, so I hope you understood this, the main difference between the TRIPS norms. Now, what happened is in 2005, Patent Amendment Act. Patent Amendment Act 2005. So product patent was introduced. Now we are almost complying with the TRIPS norms. Okay. So there was an ordinance in December 2004 and through that the amendment was made, and then there was an act in 2005. So now Indian Patent Act, which is in fully compliance with the TRIPS norms. So I hope you understood the difference between product patent, process patent, etc. Second, intellectual property protection which is required, which is related to geographical indicator. So you can write it completely. Geographical indicators. Okay, now what are geographical indicators? Basically, these are place names. Place names, these you can write one line. These are place names which are associated with the products. These are place names which are associated with the products which have originated in that region, and have characteristics because of climate, topography, skills of people of that region, etc. of the people of that region. Okay, so it is having certain characteristics specifically because of the climate, skill, etc. of the people of that region. Okay, one more line you can write. Geographical indicators granted to association of person or producers or local bodies which represent, so to whom it is granted again is important. Okay, it is not for individuals. Geographical indicators is granted to association of person or producers or local bodies which represent interest of producers of that commodity. Okay. See, initially this geographical indicators was confined to mostly few wines because there is not much, geographical indicators or such kind of products which are coming from developed countries. Initially, this was, this benefit was actually taken by the developed countries. So mostly their invention or their, specific thing was actually related to wines. So like champagne, tequila, scotch, all these are, in fact, how many of you know that these are the place names? Champagne, these were the geographical indicator. It's a name of the city only. Tequila, okay, again name of a city. Scotch. So these were the initial ones, And later, now it is more than 300 items are there. There is no point in discussing the names like Tirupati Laddu and all these are geographical indicators. Okay. So that's about geographical indicators, and it is not required for you to know all these, but you should be knowing that in the year that you are going to write exam, if some geographical indicators are given, then you should be knowing the names because the questions can be asked from that. Okay. Now next is copyrights and related rights. Third one, C, copyrights and related rights. Just write one line. Under this, rights of authors, comma, artist, comma, musical composition, comma, paintings, sculpture, comma, computer program, and films are protected. Okay, under this, rights of authors, artists, musical compositions, paintings, sculptures, computer programs, and films are protected. These are regulated by Berne Convention. Okay, Berne, it's in Germany and by developed countries. So just write Berne Convention, regulated by the Berne Convention. Now here the term of protection is 50 years. Okay. Now see here, when we talk about copyrights, what is actually protected is the idea is not protected. Okay, the idea, the same idea, if I want to talk about love, I can talk about love. If you want to talk about love, you can talk about love. You can make film on love or any idea. But what is protected is the expression of the content. So the way, that means what? Language mainly. Okay. So expression of content is protected. That means mainly language, not the content itself. Okay. So expression of the content is actually what protected. So you can say the language which is used, you cannot write the same, but you can interpret in a different way. You can talk about love, you can talk about compassion, you can talk about care or whatever you want. You can write novel, you can write a poem, you can make film, no problem. Okay, different computer programs which is catering to the same needs can be made, but the language, the way it is done should be different. Okay, so you can see this is the symbol, right? Copyright. Then what is this? See, alter, this way you have written, this is copy left. Copy left means what? Opposite of this. So copyright means it is protected, you cannot use it. Copy left means not protected, you can use it. That means it is freely available, everybody can use it. So if you want, you can write copy left also. Everybody can use and no restriction on the use or modification of the author. You can make modification, you can use it, no problem. That is copy left. Next is trademark. Just write one line. These are symbols. These are symbols, designs, pictures, or specific way of writing name. Symbols, designs, pictures, or specific way of writing names of a company which is used to distinguish its product from that of the competitors. So you write in a specific manner, that is the trademark of your company. So because of the way you writing this in this manner, it is very easy to recognize you compared to the competitors. Okay, like Ujala, etc., using that color, right? So this is what you can discuss under this. So what you have written here, writing in a specific way of the company's name, which is used to distinguish its product from the competitors. That's enough. Now next one, A, B, C, D, E, right? Trade secrets. It's like secret ingredients. This is coming out of experience. This is coming out of knowledge which is passed from, tradition, like Tirunelveli Alva. How is it made? All these are, based on the traditional knowledge. So you can write there, it is a know-how. It is a know-how in the form of aggregation of non-processes like AFC chicken. Okay, it is a know-how in the form of aggregation of non-processes, procedures, accumulation of data, etc. So in simple language, it is a way of producing some particular product. The way you produce, it's a secret information that is with you, right? So it is kept undisclosed as a trade secret. Next one, industrial design. Industrial design. It covers articles. Like designs, bearing designs, shape, configurations, etc. So that's what design, but not the product itself or not that article itself. The design of that article, the shape of that article, okay, the shape of the product or shape of something mainly. That's what you can understand from the word design, not the product itself. Here the speciality is that particular design, not the product or that particular article. Okay. Last one, layout of an integrated circuit. Layout of an integrated circuit. The way you place the transistor, capacitor, resistor, etc. So that is a layout. So just write, it protect designs of integrated circuits. It protect the designs of integrated circuit, which consist of layout of circuitry elements like transistors, resistors, capacitors, etc. and the connection between them. Okay, and the connection between them. So first one was related to agriculture, then related to trips. Now third one is related to investment measures. TRIMS. Question was there this year prelims. So here it deals with the investment of MNCs, foreign direct investment, etc. MNCs. Okay. So here first one we will discuss about tarification. Okay. So this we have already discussed once we discussed about agriculture, that we have covered. Initially, like from non-tariff barrier, what you need to do, make it to tariff barriers. So first what you need to do is from non-tariff barriers to tariff barriers, but you can have high tariff. Okay, initially high tariff and then it should be reduced. Tariffs should be low. Second one, again similar concept we have discussed in agriculture, that is national treatment. Before we discussed about the product which should be treated similar to the domestic product, at least if it is, after reaching the Indian market. Here it will be like firms, right? Because we are talking about investment measures. So the firms should be treated alike. Just write one line over there. Under this, restriction on foreign firms should be kept within reasonable limits. Restrictions on foreign firms should be kept within reasonable limits. And such restrictions should be gradually reduced. These relate to such measures as investment in identified areas for a level of foreign investment. Just 1 minute. These relate to such measures as investment in certain identified areas for a level of foreign investment, for treating foreign companies at par with domestic companies. Like before we discuss, foreign products should be treated as par with the domestic products, at least after it is coming to the Indian market. Similarly here also, so foreign companies to be treated on par with domestic companies, export obligation, domestic content requirement. Domestic content, what do you mean by domestic content requirement? Like foreign companies are coming, so there should be restrictions like use of inputs from the local setup. Okay, the domestic inputs should be used, or the use of local inputs. So these are some restrictions, so that has to be reduced over a period of time. So these are the two main points that we need to discuss under TRIPS. Now the fourth one. So first one was agriculture, then was related to IP, then was related to investment, now related to trade in services. Okay, what is that? GATS, General Agreement on Trade in Services. General Agreement on Trade in Services. Just write one line. Under this, trade in services should be progressively liberalized. Trade and services should be progressively liberalized. There were different modes. We will discuss the different modes where you can classify the services. Mode 1. Okay. So here cross-border trade or supply. This is related to cross-border trade or supply. Mode 2, consumption abroad. Mode 3, I'll give you examples. Okay, mode 3, commercial presence. Commercial presence. Mode 4, presence of natural persons. Presence of natural persons. Okay, so these are the 4 different modes. So you can see here consumption abroad means what? For example, tourism, right? People are going abroad to consume some goods, right? So now there was a question before in prelims. Tourism is considered as import or export? It is considered as import. Why? Because you are going abroad, that doesn't mean export. Why it is considered as import? Because forex is going out, right? So when you're going abroad means it is forex is going out. When a foreigner visiting India means forex is coming in, that is considered as import. No, that is considered as export. A foreigner coming to India for tourism, that is considered as export because forex is coming. When an Indian tourist is going abroad means it is considered as import because forex is going out, because it is a consumption abroad. Okay, so people are going abroad to consume some goods. It can be for entertainment or whatever it is. The consumption is abroad. So this is like import. You are going abroad is import. Okay, this question was there. Very simple question. You know the concept, you can answer it. You can just understand in terms of forex is coming or not. That's enough. Because when you are going abroad means forex is going. So that is import. When foreigner coming to India means forex is coming. So that is export. Because in export you get the forex. In import you have to pay the forex. Dollar. You can take it in terms of dollar. Now commercial presence means what? Example, MNCs. You can write MNCs, foreign banks like Citibank, HSBC, etc. Okay. Foreign companies, their subsidiaries here. And we are discussing about what? We are discussing about services. So not all foreign companies, that's why I've told you banks, etc. Those foreign companies whose subsidiaries in India, when we talk about, which are in service sector like Citibank, HSBC, etc. What is this cross-border trade or supply? Like for example, BPO. Okay. Now, presence of natural persons. This is like job visas, movement of people. In simple terms, movement of people. So, agriculture, intellectual property, investment measures, TRIMS, and then GATS. One more we need to discuss, that is non-agriculture market access, NAMA. Non-agriculture market access. Just write one line. It deals with reduction of tariffs. It deals with reduction of tariffs on items that are not covered under agreement on agriculture. So it deals with reduction of tariffs on items that are not covered under agreement on agriculture. So here we are talking about those items which are not covered under agreement on agriculture, the reduction of tariffs of that item. For example, you can write example, manufactured products, comma, fuels, mining products, fish, forestry products, etc. Okay, now what has to be done with the tariff? Obviously, tariffs have to be reduced here. But how the tariffs should be reduced? As per Swiss formula. Just write tariffs have to be reduced as per Swiss formula. What is this Swiss formula? It's a non-linear formula. It's like this only. Countries which is having most higher tariffs have to reduce more, and countries which is having less tariff have to reduce less. So you can write there, countries which had most or higher tariff have to reduce them more, and vice versa. Okay, for example, country A, country B. Now the tariff is, let's say, 50% and 20%. Okay, now if you talk about a common tariff, common reduction, so let's say the 10% reduction, make it to 10%, 10%. This is one way. So here what we are doing, we are fixing common for both. Okay, or what we can do is we can fix the same percentage reduction for both. Okay, so if that is the case, let's say 50% reduction, both have to reduce by 50%. Then what will happen? This 50% will be 25%. This 50% will be 10%. Okay. Now here we are discussing about what? Swiss formula. So what do you mean by that? Those countries which is having higher have a higher reduction commitment. For example, let's say country A have 50% commitment, and this is having less. So it should be having less commitment. So let's say country B is having 10% commitment. Now, as per Swiss formula, what should be the reduction commitment then? 50. So 50%. So that will be 25%. So this is 20 for that 10%. So what it will be? 10% of 20. Okay, then it will be 10% or 25%. What I've told you, this is 25% I've told you, right? Okay, so 25% of 20, that is 5%. So it will be 15%. So this is what you mean by Swiss formula. Okay, country A having 50%, country B having 25%. Country A having more because tariff was more. Country B having less because already tariff was less. These are the other two possibilities, fixing a flat percentage or fixing a flat rate for both. Okay, I hope you understood the difference. Now, what do you mean by this anti-dumping duties? If you are pumping the products in some other country and if it is affecting the domestic, supply or domestic goods, then the country can impose some extra duty. That's what you mean by anti-dumping duty. If it is like some products are dumped into the domestic market and if the domestic products are suffering because of that in terms of price, then you can impose anti-dumping duties.